Welcome to another episode of the Hack My Age podcast. Today, we are going to talk about supplements. It's one of the most talked about topics that I get on social media. When I have some videos sharing about menopause, oftentimes I get, what's the supplement I can take? What's the best supplement for menopause? And always the question is, well, then what symptoms are you having? And because sometimes it's too broad to say one amazing combination supplement has everything that we need. I just don't know of one. So what I'm going to do is break this up into a couple of different symptoms and then tell you what has worked for me and my community, because there's a lot of symptoms I just don't have, but I'm constantly asking, I'm constantly researching, trying to figure out what is the best thing for hot flashes, joint pain, inflammation, bone and muscle health, mood swings, brain fog, poor sleep, and stress. So I'm going to try to cover those as much as I can. I won't be able to take deep dives into the molecule or the herb or the adaptogen, whatever it is, and give you dosages because there's just too much to cover. So this is just more to give you some clues, some rabbit holes to go down to and see if it works for you or not. What the research shows is that it's divided. Like there is no one supplement or that says, great, this works for most women. That's why you just have to test, measure, and assess. You got to be the biohacker in yourself and see if these things are working. And what we're going to cover as well is estrogen metabolism as well, because you want to think about that, especially as you're going through perimenopause and in addition to the other things. But other than bioidentical hormones, which the research shows across the board, that's very effective for most women for hot flashes. You don't need a lot, you're done. But there are women out there who choose not to do hormone therapy. So this is your best bet, is to just try a bunch of different supplements as well as lifestyle changes. Your diet and your lifestyle count big time, but we're not going to cover that here. We're just going to assume you're doing all of that, because when it comes to the biohacking pyramid, everybody wants the middle tier and the top tier, which is those hacks. But the base of that tier is the good diet, the nutrition, the lifestyle, you're not smoking, you're exercising enough, you are managing your stress and your sleep. You got to do all this stuff. Maybe you won't even need supplements if you can do that. But we are not perfect, right? We have a very busy life and we live in the modern world, and not all of us have the ability or the desire to even go through some of those things. So that's why we're going to try to rely on other things. But I really, really encourage you to please do as much as you can, because that is your best bet. Now, and before you dive into any of these supplements, please talk to your doctor or health practitioner who knows you, because I don't know what you have in terms of your health markers. You need to really take all this information with a grain of salt. Something interests you, go take it to your doctor and say, hey, what do you think of this? Can I try it? Can I experiment with it? Because there are synergistic effects when you take supplements and you mix it with maybe medications or some supplements and mix it with others. There are interactions. So when you are if you're having every single menopausal symptom under the planet, which happens, and don't worry, you can manage it. Well, then please try to take these things one at a time. Don't throw the whole kitchen sink at it. It's really going to be hard to figure out what works and what doesn't work, because you don't want to be on 50 different supplements at the same time. It's okay to experiment with 50 different ones and see which ones work with you, but you don't want to be on these all the time. So, and also think about food first, right? Try to get your nutrients from food. And again, this is not the episode for that. So we're just going to get right into it. So we're going to take these sectors one at a time, just giving you very brief what it is for. And again, try to test and don't guess. So the first sector we're going to talk about is estrogen metabolism. Whether or not you are taking hormone therapy, you have to metabolize the estrogen that still exists in your body. And if you are taking hormone therapy, you want to make sure it's pushing down healthy pathways so you're not creating any DNA damage. And you do that by taking a Dutch test or a urine test or a 24-hour urine test. There's many different ways to see how you're metabolizing your hormones. And if you are not metabolizing down the right pathway, some of the supplements you want to consider, again, do your own research because we have no time to take deep dives into this, is DIM, D-I-M. And this is if you are having too high estrogen levels or you're pushing too much in a pathway, because what happens, it pulls away out the estrogen and excess estrogen that you have, which is a good thing if you have too much. But if you're already too low in estrogen and you take a DIM, well, you're taking your hormone therapy for nothing, or you're just blowing out what little you have left. Another one to look at is indole 3-carbinol, I3C. And this is again for estrogen detoxification and making sure you're pushing down those good pathways. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is another great one to have. It's such an all-around great supplement. I take this all the time for plenty of things. It's a great antioxidant as well. Calcium D-glucarate, another thing to look into, and I will have these names in the show notes in case you forget. These are all good for estrogen metabolism. And depending how you are metabolizing, you may want to ask your doctor which ones are the best things to take, because you don't need to take all of them. And then when it comes to hot flashes, the typical ones that most people talk about are Vitex, which is chasteberry, but this is very often prescribed for people who are in early perimenopause, not so much for the woman in late perimenopause like me. Black cohosh, red clover, Don Quai, soy isoflavones. These are also, if you look at a bottle of a supplement that's got a blend of things, very often it will have some of those. You can play around and make your own blend. You can try different things, or you can just try them one at a time. And I've had plenty of women in my community who eat soy, who drink soy milk, and they feel that it helps with their hot flashes. So again, try food first. And if not, you can go for the supplements. Another interesting supplement that I found through Andrea Donsky, who is from Morphus, or wearemorphus.com. She has a podcast, Menopause Reimagined, which is really cool. I like her podcast. She also has a supplement company. And one supplement she introduced to me that was new is called Pycnogenol. And it's nothing new. It's just new for me. And it's French maritime pine bark. And this has been shown to help with hot flashes. And she says with her community, it works like a charm. Anything I have a discount code for, I will put also in the show notes. So look out for that. And then at the end of this podcast, I will share brands, just in general, brands that make big supplement companies, which ones I prefer. And I'll have that in the links too, the links in the show notes. And another one that a lot of people like is evening primrose and sage for hot flashes. And actually, even when I've been doing menopause videos around the world, I'll be in Asia, and a lot of women are mentioning the evening primrose there too. So the next category we're going to talk about is inflammation. And I don't want to give you too many because there are so many out there. And if you've got joint pain or immune system issues, gut issues, liver, everything, anywhere in your body, inflammation, because one of the big hallmarks of aging, the problems of aging, is a lot of people say it starts with inflammation, low chronic grade inflammation. And so that's what we want to be tackling as much as we can. Seems like inflammation comes from everywhere. So the classic one that everyone talks about, that most people enjoy and see results, are curcumin. And the other one that I was prescribed by my regenerative medicine doctor, she talked a lot about EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. That's why we just say EGCG. And if you are having an injury, if you had an injury, you might want to take higher dosages of this. But if you're just sort of on a maintenance dose, then of course you just take whatever's on the bottom. The other great thing for inflammation is urolithin A. I did a great podcast with Jennifer Scheinman on that. And I'll If I can remember, put these links in the show notes. Urolithin A is great for a lot of things, immune system, inflammation, and muscle health. I'll mention this again when we get to the muscle part. And again, NAC showing up for that inflammation. It's a fabulous antioxidant. Now, bone health, this is a big category. And generally, the recommendations that a doctor often gives, just take your calcium and your vitamin D. Well, this doesn't appear to be increasing bone density over time. So we got to do more than that. And we lose about 1% of density every year after the age of 40. And it's been recommended to take a lot of minerals for your bones as well. Minerals are actually made out of bone. I would definitely say vitamin D3 plus K2 and magnesium are big ones for the bones. But if you listen to my podcast that just came out, the one before this one with Caroline Allen, who is a mineral expert, she says when you dump a bunch of magnesium in your body, even though you may need it, if it's too much, then your body needs, I think she said phosphorus or potassium and calcium. And it needs calcium to balance itself out. So her point was, if you're pulling the calcium out of the bones, which is what the body tends to do, then all this magnesium is just making your bones more brittle. So it's about getting balance, not just throwing them more at it. So she recommends Beam Minerals, which is like a multi-mineral supplement. And that actually covers a lot of bases and it brings the balance to the body. That's one great product. I did a great podcast with Dr. Doug Lucas on bone health, and he talked about a product called AlgaeCal. We could only get this in the US, maybe in Canada, I'm not really sure, but it's got vitamin C, D3, K2, calcium, magnesium, boron, copper, manganese, silica, nickel, selenium, strontium, phosphorus, potassium, vanadium, zinc. And it's got algae in it, of course, because algae pre-digest minerals kind of in similar amounts as those that are inside the bone. What we've done in Europe is actually try to replicate some of that. So we've been able to find very similar ingredients in Life Extension's Bone Restore. And then they have a separate strontium product as well. I've actually been taking this myself. So I'm going to be I did retest with a REM scan, and actually my bones were pretty good. So that's one option for the bones. You have that whole list of things. You can try to put them together yourself, but it's probably easier to get all of these things in a sort of bone formula, which is why I like the Life Extension one. Muscle. Let's talk about muscle now. One of the most researched supplements on the planet is creatine. And creatine has been around for a long time. It's very safe. You don't need to buy anything fancy or expensive. And it's quite tasteless. I just throw it into a smoothie and drink it, or put it in some protein powder with a bunch of other things. Very simple molecule. And it's been shown to have really great benefits for the brain. So when we talk about the brain, I'm going to mention creatine again as well. Another really, really key supplement that I take for muscle is essential amino acids. Go and get a really good, high quality one. This is not BCAAs, those branched chain amino acids. These are the essential ones. Okay. We need all of them to optimize our muscle health. And muscle is so important as we age, and we lose it very quickly when we go through menopause. So essential amino acids is fabulous. I am a big fan of Kion, Kion, and they have the formula that was created by NASA for astronauts, right? When they go in outer space, they lose a lot of muscle mass because they don't have gravity. So basically that's what they did. So if you cannot get Kion, go and look at the label, try to find the closest thing you can. But I have to say, I love these amino acids. I take the ones that comes in a powder form. Mango is my favorite flavor. And it's the first time I've actually had an essential amino acid that tastes good, because they taste nasty. Be ready. If you're buying a powder or something, it's not going to taste good. So either get supplements or you get the Kion powder. And I wound up drinking so much more water because I was really enjoying this drink. The other thing for muscle is urolithin A, and this is made by Timeline, and this is a really great supplement for muscle strength. Okay, this is not about growing muscle or hypertrophy like essential amino acids or creatine. This is about keeping the strength and getting endurance in your sports. And another really cool one, this is a new hack for me that I haven't tried out yet, but one of my biohacking besties said she did some great research and she's testing this out and she's seeing results. And that's beta alanine. And she said you have to get the slow release one and the one that has this trademarked carnosine. Carnosyn. And what this does is help with muscle mass. And actually, she feels more energy. And what it does is stop the lactic acid buildup, that burn that you feel when you are exercising. So if you're not feeling that burn, I mean, it eventually happens. It's just delayed. You are able to train harder and faster and go longer. So that's how you're building this muscle mass. She's really pleased with it. What else did she say? She's taking the one by Thorne. So Thorne is up there with my list of brands that I really like. So test that out if you want to test your performance. And whey protein is kind of a standard for muscle, right? It's really effective, really great. But whey protein won't be as good as essential amino acids because those are all broken down. They have everything there. Not everyone can digest whey. Not everyone can actually, as we age, we cannot pull out the essential amino acids as well and digest them and use them. So that's why I really like essential amino acids. But to be honest, I put them both. I take them both. I sometimes mix them both. And so actually that's a great way to supercharge your muscle. Now, when it comes to mood, we're talking about mood swings, anxiety, crying for no reason, feeling a little depressed. There's a lot of cognitive changes that happen as we go through menopause. And what I really like are those adaptogens for your mood. And adaptogens are plants, and what they do is adapt to their needs. So if you need more energy, they give it. If you need to feel more calm, they make you more calm. It just knows what to do. And one of the big ones we all use in the menopause space is ashwagandha. I think it's been in Indian Ayurvedic medicine for a long time. And this helps us feel calm, feel relaxed. Rhodiola rosea is another one. This is a natural selective estrogen receptor modulator, or SERM. It's anti-inflammatory, it reduces cortisol, stress, anxiety, fatigue, depression, memory. It does a lot. And ashwagandha as well does so many of these things. So I would consider those two. You can even take them both and see which one works better. And get your B vitamins. A good B complex is very important because those adrenals are taking a hit when we have so much stress, and it helps with our mood as well. So I like the one by Quicksilver. It's called Methyl B complex. And if you're feeling a little low, maca is also quite good. Maca is a lot more for energy, and I won't be covering energy and what supplements I like for energy with that, but it would go in these both categories. The brain. Okay, supplements for the brain. Creatine is back again. It's good for the muscle. It's good for the brain. It's something that bodybuilders originally used, and they would only take it, I guess, when they were training. And that's the way I was using it for a long time too, until I heard the benefits for the brain. So I want to protect my brain and my brain health. So I'm taking it every day. And there's a whole list of mushrooms, seed and root extracts, ginkgo biloba, lutein, rhodiola. All of these things are great for your cognitive health, and it will help with mood and your brain and your energy and your creative flow, your focus, mental clarity. All of these things are fabulous. And I like the Qualia Mind supplement because it has all of those things in one. And I actually feel the difference. I don't feel the difference very often with supplements, but that one, yes. And it does have some caffeine in it, so you don't want to be taking this at night. It's something to boost your mind. You want to increase the energy in your brain. So you take Qualia Mind in the morning. There's 3 great brain ones that kind of come all together because I did a great podcast with Dr. Sandra Kaufman all about different supplements. She's a supplement queen. She doesn't sell any. She has no interest. She just loves researching them. And she's my go-to when I ask about supplements. And we did a podcast all about the 3 very important molecules for the brain. And the first one was spermidine. The second one was magnesium threonate. And the third one was andrographolide. If you have a pen and paper, you're probably scribbling this so fast right now, but I don't know how this in the show notes. This is going to be a really long show notes. But these cross the blood-brain barrier, and that's why she chose them. And they have a really good effect on our brain health. Oxford's Health Span, they make Primeadine. That's the spermidine I take. And I don't have any favorites for the magnesium threonate other than the one that's included in the Bioptimizers ones that I will mention in the next one. The next category. And andrographolide, it's not difficult to find. It's just that it doesn't seem like any of the bigger brands make it. I could be wrong. Maybe Thorne. The other things for the brain, lion's mane. Again, this is mushrooms. Anything mushroom is great for your brain. Oh, I'm totally obsessed now with Bioptimizer's mushroom breakthrough. It is so tasty, really tasty. They made such a fabulous formula, and there is a bit of cocoa powder in there, so it tastes like a cocoa drink, but just lovely, lovely, lovely. So if you are sensitive to caffeine, you may not want to take this in the evening. I do. Doesn't seem to affect my sleep, but it's great when you want just a coffee alternative. It's fabulous. So mushroom breakthrough, loving it. It's a new product that they have. And now when talking about sleep and stress, and they go together, really, honestly. You can't sleep if you're all stressed out. And if you manage your stress, you wind up sleeping better. So magnesium is the big one. Okay. Magnesium, get whatever magnesium works for you. There's so many different kinds. There's two brands that I really love for magnesium. And one is the Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough. And then there's the Qualia magnesium, because both of these formulas have multiple different types of magnesium so that you kind of got all your bases covered. And I really like it. And again, through my community, I'm seeing really great results. Everyone seems to really love those two brands too. So I'm okay talking about them because I get enough feedback on it. And also Bioptimers just has another one called Sleep Breakthrough. And it's got the magnesium in it, but it's got a little bit of glycine in there and some other really fabulous molecules for sleep. The only thing with these, with the Sleep Breakthrough, if you take it in the powdered form, it's a little sweet. To me, it's a little bit sticky sweet. So what I have to do is just dilute it with more water, and there you go. So just giving you a little heads up on that. And Primeadine is spermidine. That's a fabulous molecule for sleep. It's probably the symptom that I get the most feedback on when somebody starts using Primeadine, spermidine. So if you want good sleep, it's such a great one to have. And then I even stack that with glycine, and it's so good for my sleep. And then melatonin, of course, is another great sleep molecule. It's a fabulous antioxidant. I'm a big fan of herbatonin because it's plant-based or melatonin. And the research that, of course, they presented, which is maybe a little biased, is that it is better than the synthetic stuff we get in the pharmacy. But honestly, if regular magnesium gives you good sleep, fabulous, go for it. And if you're taking enough to sleep, but then you feel a little groggy in the morning, the first thing when you wake up, open those windows, put your face outdoors, go walk outside, just 10, 15 minutes, and you offset that. You wake up so quickly. That grogginess goes away right away. And another one for sleep and stress is the ashwagandha and the B vitamins. These are really good for sleep and stress. And of course, the B minerals kind of comes in as well. I've been getting a little bit of feedback now from people who've been using B minerals. And it's actually really easy to take the B minerals because it's just a shot glass. You have this, it's actually quite a big container, and it's liquid, and it tastes like water. It's brown. You're going, ooh, you prepare yourself for something. And it's actually tastes clear like water, but all the minerals are in there, and it's just half of a shot glass. It's really so easy to take. I'm so happy to take that because it's like drinking water. And then that's it, right? For those different sectors that we just talked about. I will probably do another episode on hair, skin, thyroid, cholesterol, and heart health, which is really important, detox, gut, fatigue, supplement for pretty much everything. And boy, I've tried all of them. They're really amazing. And there's things that worked for me, things that didn't, but I want to just present to you only the things that I've heard about from my community, from the women who are going through menopause, and they feel a difference. Okay. Because I don't have all of these symptoms, but other people do. So let's get to the brands that are my favorite brands for supplements in general. So Bioptimizers is up there, and they do quite a big range of different types of supplements. I only talked about a few, but I trust them. I like them. I've been using them for years. The feedback I get is great. All my biohacking besties use it as well. Qualia is another big one out there. It's not like they do a whole range. It's not like they're Thorne or something and do every single supplement on the sun, but they're very good quality. And then Beam, I mentioned, Oxford Health Span that makes the spermidine. That's the only supplement they make is spermidine. So it's a good one. And then Timeline for the urolithin A, they only have one supplement as well. Kion has all the essential amino acids. They have the powder and they have the supplements themselves, the capsules, and they have a couple other things, even like coffee. And then Thorne, Thorne, is they've got everything under the sun. Really great brand. It's a little bit more expensive, a little pricey, but it's worth it. I really like them. Now, NOW is probably the most affordable one, and it's good quality. Again, they make tons of supplements. If you Google a supplement, I'm sure they will pop up because it's a big brand. Designs for Health is another fabulous brand, and they do lots of other things, kind of like in the Thorne category. And then the other ones are Pure Encapsulate. These are another great brand. Life Extension, Quicksilver Scientific. I've got discount codes for that one. And then We Are Morphus. That's where all these, they only focus on menopause. All the menopause supplements you want are there. WeAreMorphus.com. And Dr. Amy Horniman, we didn't talk about the thyroid, but she's got a lot of great supplements, and she's used to be a bodybuilder in that space. So I trust her brand. Rev Genetics is another good one. Solgar, Solray, Doctor's Best. These are some of the biggest brands that I think are generally safe and effective. And there's a couple of things that you need to look for in the ingredient list in terms of fillers. And we should probably do a whole other episode on that. And not everyone is as quote unquote clean. I hate that word clean, but as I guess, yeah, as it should be. But when you go for a cheaper brand, it's more affordable, it may be effective, but then you may have some other things in there that you don't really want. So that's it. That is my try to do a really quick run on some of my favorite supplements for menopause and some of the menopause symptoms. Certainly not all of them. I hope you learned something new. If you've tried any of these things and you really like them or you didn't like them, tell me, please, because I take a running tab on everything that I recommend. And please, if you are considering looking for a group of women to talk about these things, we talk about them all the time in the Biohacking Menopause membership group. It's a women's only support group. We are all biohacking our way through menopause. And I just love hearing the experiences that every woman has and how everyone supports each other to try to give their best recommendations for so many things. So you are not alone, and menopause definitely is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And my new word now is get. I get to go through menopause, and I'm lucky I do. So wishing you all a very, very happy holiday. Go and check out our holiday sales as well. We have a great holiday guide, Christmas guide of all my favorite biohacking things. Go check that out. I'll have a link to that in the show notes. So have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you next time.